Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Very good. It's a Thursday, and we've got a guy by the name of John Huelskamp coming up on the program, and we're going to be talking about his book, Friends of the Wigwam. So I'm excited to chat with him, find out what that's all about. Also, take a listen to this. A restaurant in China paid $75,000 for a fish.
Okay.
It was a giant golden tiger fish that is believed to be good luck. Or they have a really good salesman. No, really, this one's good luck. It is $75,000. If you buy it, that's good luck for me. $75,000 for a fish.
If he could afford $75,000 for a fish, I would say he had already had good luck to begin with. Don't you think? If he had that kind of money to throw away on a fish?
On a fish, yeah. So I'm wondering if it's a restaurant. Is it a fish for their fish tank, or is it a fish to sell to people? Like that they're going to serve?
I can't imagine that they ate that fish.
I think they I don't know. It's a giant golden tiger fish. I have no idea. All I know is it's supposed to be good luck. So if that's the way things work, then I should probably go fishing. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Thursday, August the 4th. Today is Coast Guard Day. Yeah, it's also.
I like the Coast Guard.
I do too. It's also Indian Pale Ale Beer Day. Do you like that?
I don't believe I've ever had it.
Well, have you ever met a beer you didn't like?
Yes, actually, I have.
What kind of beer don't you
like? I don't like those microbrew things, most of them.
So you're just kind of a regular, Schlitz and Pabst kind of girl?
I do like pale ales, so I would probably like this one, but I've never had it, so I can't say for sure.
Today is also National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Ooh, I know what we're doing for dinner tonight. Chocolate chip cookies. Single Working Women's Day today, and Social Security Day today. So, you know what they say, someday Social Security Day is going to go away. Mm-hmm. That's what they say. Mm-hmm. But not today, because today is the day. It is Social Security Day. Get out there and celebrate. I'm not sure how, but do it. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business. If it's done right, you can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time, too. You decide when messages are sent, and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Stand-up comedy may be fun to watch, but it's considered one of the toughest jobs on the planet. And in at least one case, a guy broke his ankle while he was performing.
Oh.
Maybe he should be doing sit-down comedy instead of stand-up. United Kingdom comedian Mark Oliver brought a whole new meaning to the phrase break a leg when he took the stage in Bristol at a comedy club. Within 15 seconds of grabbing the mic, his left knee gave way. Oh. As he collapsed in a heap, he broke his ankle.
Oh.
The audience thought it was part of the act, so they applauded the man.
Oh, my God.
He's 28. He's been a stand-up comic for 4 years. He continued to tell jokes as he laid on the floor, unable to move, lapsing in and out of consciousness.
Oh, my gosh.
With the pain from his dislocated knee. It was only when paramedics arrived on the scene, about 20 minutes later, the audience realized that this was not part of his act.
Oh.
Mark said, I was in a lot of pain, but I managed to do about 15 minutes of material on the floor, passing out every now and then. And because of the pain, I would pass out, then I would come around to do a punchline. He said he did get a standing ovation on his way out, he was told.
Gosh.
He said by that time he was completely unconscious. So I have had a chance to do an open mic night. I've never been like a touring comedian or any of that, but I've always been a big fan of comedy, and you have too.
Oh, yeah.
And when you were a kid, you wanted to do that.
I did.
Can you imagine doing that now?
No, I'm way too shy.
She's
I've
mortified.
always been too shy, but I think that's probably why I admired it so much, that people can get up and do that and put themselves out there like that, because that is tough.
It is. And I had, for the stand-up open mic night that I went to, you had 5 minutes worth of material. And 5 minutes doesn't sound like a long time until you have 5 minutes. We just spoke now for 2 minutes. Imagine another one of these and then another minute after that. Yeah. That's 5 minutes. It's a long time, especially. It's not so long if things are all like hitting and you're doing well, but if you're bombing, 5 minutes is forever. So good news is I didn't bomb. I actually won the thing, which was awesome. And I didn't even break my ankle on the deal, so that was kind of nice.
It is stressful. It's a tough thing to do, and surprisingly, many comedians that do that for a living are actually pretty shy.
Yeah, I know. I've met several that are
because Brian Regan, my favorite man on the planet.
Are we going to talk about him every day?
Yes.
Okay, I just thought
if we can, anytime I can slip it in there, I'm going to slip it in.
Kind of thought that might be the case.
But we've met him many times,
and
he's very shy and humbled by like all the people that are gushing over him,
which is cool. That's really
awesome.
Cool. Anyway, this dude, his name is Mark Oliver. He brought the comedy club to their feet while he broke his ankle in Bristol, and you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. Heidi, I have a question for you. Can you be arrested for driving under the influence if your car's engine was not on?
Yes, if you're behind the wheel.
2 women who took turns steering a broken-down vehicle faced drunk driving charges after their slow-moving car crashed into a parked car. Kayla Casey of Gary, Indiana, was pushing a disabled vehicle while Melissa Frudenberg steered from a nearby passenger seat. Why was she in the passenger seat?
Oh, my gosh.
The two were moving the car into a parking lot at a nearby motel when they were spotted by the police. Both women were completely intoxicated. It says here more than twice the state's legal limit. Authorities said the women were operating the vehicle while intoxicated, even if the car wasn't working. A prosecutor acknowledged the charges could be difficult to prosecute in court. According to deputy prosecutor for that area, I'm not even going to try his name, he authorized the charges. He said the statute and the case law support a DUI charge, but it will be interesting to see. So it'll be interesting, I guess, to see.
To see them prove
but
it.
But they say they have had people who have been successfully charged while operating a bicycle, and that's not motorized, and motorized wheelchairs, but they've not yet had somebody do this one. So it'll be interesting to see if they will be convicted. All I know is, kids, this is what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Our moment of duh comes from Chicago today, Heidi. James Kowalski and Josh Finneman wanted to celebrate the 4th of July. That's not a bad thing. Come on, they just wanted to celebrate. But they didn't want to spend the, $5 on fireworks.
Oh, man.
They figured, let's just make our own. They filled 10 small balloons with explosive gas, acetylene gas, which is like for running a torch.
Okay.
They put that into a balloon to ignite at a party later in the day. Loading into their car, one of them threw balloons in the back and slammed the door, which ignited a spark.
Oh, no.
And caught the balloons on fire, exploding the car into bits, throwing James and Josh several feet. Fortunately, they suffered only minor cuts and burns. Can't say the same for their car. It's completely destroyed.
That would have been funny to see.
I just think
I bet it wasn't covered by insurance.
Probably not. Does your insurance policy cover acts of idiocracy? Is that... No, it doesn't cover it? Well, I'm going to have to keep looking because I'm a moron and I'm going to need that. Yeah, these guys were in Chicago, Illinois, and they exploded their car with 10 balloons filled with acetylene gas. Not a good plan. Coming up, we have your scoop of the day. That's on the way.
My immediate reaction after something like that would be to just stand there and laugh and laugh and laugh.
Probably.
I couldn't get mad because
what were we thinking was going to happen? All right. We've got your scoop of the day on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
A crappy expo started this week in Ohio, the Manure Expo. It actually started yesterday. How would you like to go to that?
No, thank you.
No, you don't think so? An Oregon man on vacation is accused of putting his 2 teenage daughters in the trunk of the car because there wasn't enough room for all 4 kids up front.
Oh,
so we put
wow.
2 teenagers in the trunk to handle all 4 kids in the car.
Wow.
Bad idea. You don't want to do that. Not in Oregon or anywhere else. A Coast Guard officer hiking in Alaska had his phone stolen by a bald eagle. Yeah, a bald eagle.
That's cool.
Swoop down and
you
swipe
hear
his
about
phone.
that happening quite a bit. These eagles just taking, and I heard about a bald eagle
Dogs.
picking up a child in
Ooh.
somebody's backyard,
Oh, yeah,
a toddler.
yeah, I read that. I read
Yeah.
about that. Team USA uniforms look a bit, I don't know, Russian? We're going to be talking a lot about the Olympics tomorrow. We've got a special guest that's going to be chatting with us about the Olympics. But Team USA will be showcasing a new uniform at the Rio Olympics opening ceremony. I believe that's tomorrow. The uniforms were unveiled last week by designer Ralph Lauren. Critics on social media say the design of the T-shirt, visible just above the jacket, resembles the Russian flag. So they're saying, are you sure that's
Yeah,
Team
what's going
USA?
on with that?
So there you go. Hey, don't put your hands on a flight attendant. Ever, ever, ever. Videos show a Lexington, Kentucky man being subdued by a pilot after a confrontation with a flight crew on an American Airlines flight to Charlotte. In the video, Michael Kerr threatened to break the pilot's jaw and push the flight attendant to the floor, prompting the pilot to take Kerr to the floor, saying, "You don't put your hands on my flight attendant." If you've not seen the video, I've got a link to that at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. That is just crazy. Did you see that video?
I did not.
It is nuts. What's killing your diet? Well, maybe it's weekends. Yeah, let's start blaming them. The researchers from Self Magazine say the thing that throws your diet off track the most, the biggest thing is the weekend. Most people eat 115 more calories on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. than
Only
they do.
115.
I know. I'm like,
They're not doing weekends right.
you guys are getting it wrong. Let me show you how to do weekends the right way. Talking about 1,000 calories more. Anyway, the rest of the week they usually do well. And it says also on the weekends people go without exercise. And that can add up to 5 pounds a year if you just skip the exercise on the weekends. So they're saying, so you got to keep your regimen going.
Imagine how many
all
more
the time.
pounds it is if you skip the exercise every day.
I can tell you. I can calculate that
Yeah.
for you. 40% of the extra calories you consume come on the weekends from alcohol, Heidi. 40% from alcohol.
That's all week, honey. I don't know what they're talking about weekends. That's ridiculous.
According to a government audit, the Social Security Administration has paid over $31 million to dead people over the last couple of
That
years.
is insane.
$31 million to people who are dead. And their checks are getting cashed somehow. These same people are voting, by the way. They're dead. And they're voting and getting Social Security checks. The Washington Post reported last week that the heat in D.C. neared record proportions. The temperatures in the city has not fallen below 80 degrees for 5 days. 124 straight hours of 80 degrees or higher in Washington, D.C., so that's because of all the hot air coming from Washington. Yeah, see? University of Rochester reports that children who eat candy cigarettes are more likely to smoke real cigarettes as an adult.
Whatever.
Good news, I happen to have a child who chewed up and ate a whole bunch of candy cigarettes as a child in the studio right now. Her name is Heidi. Heidi, how many candy cigarettes did you devour as a child?
Loved candy
She had
cigarettes.
a 3-pack-a-day habit.
And I ate candy cigarettes all the time. And I would even light the ends
Yeah.
and
So-
blow them out and pretend like they were cigarettes.
So how many
they
cigarettes-
tasted like roasted marshmallows, by the way, when you do that.
Don't
so
encourage
if you have
kids. No, don't.
candy cigarettes.
Hey.
It's
How many?
amazing.
We're almost out of time. How many cigarettes do you smoke now, Heidi?
I don't smoke cigarettes.
There you go. She does smoke a
I
cigar
do smoke
sometimes.
cigars.
Did you eat candy cigars as a child?
I don't think they made candy
Okay.
cigars.
I think they did, like bubblegum cigars.
I didn't like those though.
Okay.
I'm not a bubble. You know, I'm not a bubblegum person.
See? People over there in Rochester just shot your entire thing. Completely wrong, according to Heidi. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
Although,
Yeah?
with the bubblegum cigarettes, they had those little wrappers around them,
Yeah.
and if you blew on them, it looked like smoke coming out the end.
Wow. This has been your scoop of the day.
John and Heidi.
Whether you're following the election or not, you understand that it impacts you. And this will be a historic election. The mainstream media has their own spin on who's going to win, but PoliticalStorm.com lets you chime in. You can keep yelling at the TV if you want, see how that works out. Or truly voice your opinion and have it heard at PoliticalStorm.com. Be informed from several different sources all in one place. Watch videos, listen to podcasts like mine, and read fun editorials to engage your brain. You have a choice, and now you have a voice too at PoliticalStorm.com. That's PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us right now. We have John William Huelskamp. He recently published a historic fiction novel titled Friends of the Wigwam, a Civil War story. First of all, let's say hello to John. How are you, sir?
Well, hello, John. Doing well. Thanks for inviting me. I'm honored.
Well, we're glad to have you on the program. And now, first of all, how long did it take to put this book together? Have you worked on this for quite some time?
Yeah, about 20 years of research. And by the way, this is a historical novel, which means the characters are true, and the events, the battles, everything's true. The only thing that is, because it's a novel, I had to create dialogue to make the characters alive, like Grant and Lincoln. But 20 years of research prior to the internet, traveling on battlefields and going into historical libraries, and it took me 10 years to write.
Well, very nice. Now, the Civil War, that's something that there are a lot of people that have a huge interest in that. Now, Friends of the Wigwam, a Civil War story, where does this take place, and which time frame during the Civil War does this take place?
Okay, excellent question. It takes place in northern Illinois, okay, which is obviously, as most people know, Abraham Lincoln was from there, U.S. Grant and the others. So it focuses on the more of a Union command and 6 young children, teenagers, in 1857, so 4 years before the war started. And as you get to know the characters as they play on this Pecatonica River together in what's called an Indian wigwam fort, they then go off to war. Some return, some don't. What I'm trying to do here is enlighten readers about the truth of the Union Northern contributions which have been lost to history. And that includes the Western Theater, which is considered at that time these troops that came from Indiana, Iowa, all the way up some to the Dakotas, Michigan, that were primarily under U.S. Grant and General Sherman. And the focus has been on the Eastern Theater. And that's why I wrote the book, is to give light to the actual wonderful contributions made by soldiers that lived along the Mississippi and Missouri River Valley.
Very nice. Now, one of the characters that we're going to meet in the book that's a real person is a guy by the name of Albert Cashier. And Albert wasn't a guy at all, was he?
That's right. He was born a lady. I mean, he's doing this political thing right now. Transgender has been approved by Congress for military and obviously all the other LGBT community stuff. This woman might have been heterosexual. We don't know. The scholars that have looked at her all agree that she was an American hero.
Yeah.
Her name is Albert D.J. Cashier. She was only 5'3", and she managed to join the 95th Illinois, or Rockford, Illinois. And back then they did inspections by only looking at hands and feet because they wanted warm bodies to fight for the Union. I can tell you that Illinois contributed 250,000 soldiers to the Civil War effort, which is shocking to most people when they hear this. Iowa, about 180,000. As we go down the river, there were troops also that fought from Tennessee, Knoxville, and that joined the Union forces. But this book wants to lay the groundwork for people to continue researching in the Western Theater. Because the history books that are given to elementary school people don't really mention the Western Theater at all. Two simple questions. If you were to ask most of your listeners who was the best general in the Civil War, the vast majority would say Robert E. Lee. When in fact, U.S. Grant lost no battles after winning in the Western Theater at Shiloh, Vicksburg, and of course Sherman and Atlanta. He went east and defeated Lee in the Eastern Theater. So here we have the American War College teaching, officers that the greatest general in the 19th century was Grant, followed by Sherman. And there's no mention of Robert E. Lee. So how did that all come about? More of a focus on the Eastern Theater because that's where America began. And also the fact that in the Midwest, most of these folks at that time, or soldiers, were farmers that actually took to the West with the Homestead Act of 1862, 163 acres of land. I had a great-great-grandfather from Joliet, Illinois, that took that after the war, moved to Madison, Nebraska. So with that, the history and has been watered. The oral tradition has been watered down. It's been spread across the West. While on the Eastern Theater, those soldiers went home to their trades. Whether they were fishermen, bankers, whatever. Not mostly farmers. It was more industrial. Put up their monuments, and that history is alive and well on the East Coast. It's pretty much not around here in the Midwest.
Again, visiting right now with John William Huelskamp, recently published a historic fiction novel titled Friends of the Wigwam, a Civil War story. Also in the book, we kind of learn a little bit about the African-American Civil War Regiment and how the Illinois Underground Railroad was crucial to shaping our nation. It was pretty darn important, wasn't it?
It was. Again, most people have been taught that the Underground Railroad was primarily on the Eastern Theater running up to Boston. Well, guess what? You look at the state of Illinois, I'll select that because it was a state when the war began. Missouri, another state, was a territory. That state of Missouri and Kentucky also, which is right around Illinois, those were slave states, as Maryland was, border states. And what would happen is, as we all know, people that have been on the Missouri River or Mississippi, the Missouri River flows from the west to the east. So what happened is these runaway slaves from western Missouri, which was primarily Confederate or rebel soldiers eventually when they enlisted, they would float down in the cover of night, moonlight, either on a raft or a boat or a log, and as they were carried down the Missouri River to St. Louis, once they got there, all they had to do is get across the Mississippi River to Alton, Illinois, which was an abolitionist, anti-slavery town. And so they were in freedom. They got to their freedom that way. So from these runaways from Missouri and Kentucky, the 29th USCT, which was all black with white officers that they had at the time, these African-American soldiers were primarily runaways, and they ended up joining in Quincy, Illinois. In April of 1864, they went east to Virginia, fought in the Battle of Petersburg, and were at Appomattox. So for the surrender of Lee. So they're a very famous regiment from the Midwest that participated in the Civil War. Again, very few, if any, people on the street know about them. Some historians do, most don't.
Again, visiting right now with John William Huelskamp, and he's got a book called Friends of the Wigwam, a Civil War story. Now, I'm going to wager a guess that everybody listening right now is probably young enough that they were not around for the Civil War, unless they really, really took care of themselves. So everything we do know is stuff that we've learned. Now, there was a novel called Gone with the Wind, and it was turned into a book, and there are a lot of people that's kind of what they know of that time frame. Now, you say that your book is kind of the northern answer to some of the myths that were generated by the famous novel Gone with the Wind.
That is correct. That's what the whole purpose of the book is, to provide a readable story for young and old, any age, that actually Gone with the Wind is 90% fiction, 10% fact. My book is the reverse, 90% fact. You'll have date and time of the battles these people fought in, these children that some didn't come back, some did. Grant, Sherman, all of these folks that we know are in the book. And I was very careful to make sure that these myths that are created about Western soldiers not being in the war and generals like Lee being the greatest are reversed. So hopefully you'll find that after finishing the book.
Well, we appreciate taking some time to chat with us about it. Again, the book is called Friends of the Wigwam, a Civil War story. Author John William Huelskamp has been our guest today. Now, where can we find a copy of this book?
So right to Amazon, and you can get it in paperback or Kindle. So I thank everybody for going to the site, Amazon, and if you join the historical folks that are now getting their eyes open. And I'm not the only one that's shedding light on the Western theater, but I believe this is the first novel that's historical that is readable, and I think you'll enjoy it.
John, thank you again for taking time to chat with us today.
Okay, John, likewise. Appreciate the help.
Again, Friends of the Wigwam, a Civil War story, and their website is friendsofthewigwam.com. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that website is RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Fingernails grow 4 times faster than toenails.
Yes, I knew that.
I'm wiggling my
actually.
fingers in front of her. I'm wiggling my toes, too. You just can't see that. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In England, in the 1880s, the word pants was considered a dirty word.
Really?
Yeah, they had trousers. You don't use the word pants. So there you go. We probably just got bleeped if anybody's listening to us in England. Pants, pants, pants. The average person laughs 15 times a day, Heidi. We are way above
yeah,
average.
I bet I laugh way more than that.
Oh, I know you are. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Female dogs are twice as numerous as far as biting than male dogs. Female dog bites, there you go, are twice as numerous as male dog bites. So female dogs bite more than male dogs bite. There you go. Did I say that right? I completely messed that up, didn't I? Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A cow spends 18 hours a day chewing. 18 hours. Well, they got nothing else to do. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What is that, John?
Mozart wrote the music for the song Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
I did not know.
I didn't either. And guess how old he was?
How old was he?
5.
Oh,
Yeah, when Mozart was 5, he wrote Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. When I was 5, I would sing that with the alphabet. A, B, C, D. So Mozart created the alphabet song, kids. See?
that's awesome.
That is a fun fact for you on a Thursday.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business. If it's done right, you can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time, too. You decide when messages are sent, and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Where you live affects your blood pressure. Apparently, my speech. I can't talk for some reason. Researchers have discovered that people who live in neighborhoods with more opportunities for exercise and better grocery store availability have lower risks of having high blood pressure. The findings found that income and education didn't have as much to do with blood pressure as environment. So walkable streets, recreational areas, and better access to healthy foods could make it easier for people to exercise and maintain that healthy diet. Researchers at the University of Michigan are the ones that came up with this absolutely amazing study.
We have lovely walking trails where we live.
But that's the thing. You got to use them.
we do. I use them.
I know, and I have. I didn't
And I have to
yesterday.
drag your butt out of bed to go
Let's
use
go for
them.
a walk. I'm like, I don't want to go for a walk.
Don't make me walk.
I went for a walk yesterday. Stress may also play a role.
Yeah.
Living conditions that make it hard for people to relax and recover from life's daily stresses might contribute to blood pressure problems as well. Heidi's blood pressure is like 10,000 over 5,000.
It's insane.
It's not quite that
It's
bad.
insane. I think if I were to get poked with a needle, I would go flying around the room like a balloon.
Probably. Or like if you turn on a garden hose like really fast and just let it spray. That's what you'd look like, I think. I don't know. That's why I always steer clear when they're doing the little blood test. Right? Okay, we're going to check your blood here. So anyway, blood pressure is higher. They're saying if you have a bad health lifestyle and if you have a lot of stress. These people
I have both of those.
These people get paid to do these studies. That's the only thing I think is
that's
funny.
just ridiculous.
So, University of Michigan, did you really have to do a study on all
Yeah.
of this? All right, coming up, we've got a story from a Cracker Barrel. We're going to chat about that here in just a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
If you're in business, you need a website. Come on, it's 2016. Do you think this internet thing is not going to catch on? Many business owners that don't have a website think it's just too expensive. Well, now it's not. You can get a website for a few $100s, not thousands of dollars that are charged elsewhere. We can help you set up and design the site and then turn you loose to manage it, or we can help you manage the site for just a tiny bit more. Learn about this special radio offer right now at radiosavings.com. Get an extra $50 off if you sign up this month at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Just because you're receiving free books for libraries doesn't mean the books are worthy of being received. Take a listen to this. A Tennessee-based Cracker Barrel restaurant chain ran a promotion to give free books to libraries. Customers thought it was a great idea. The libraries were a little less enthusiastic, though. The Gilbert, Arizona library, for instance, wasn't sure what to do with their 11,796 copies of the same preschool book, and their 1,000 copies of Quick and Easy Pasta, and 200 copies of How to Use Microsoft Windows 95. Yeah, you probably don't need that anymore.
Probably not.
If you're still reading that book, by the time you finish it, that's not going to work anyway, because it doesn't work now. Anyway, they say there's no value to anybody. Those books should have been thrown away. The restaurant chain said they did not get a chance to review the titles. They said all we did is decided to, I think they gave people like a discount for bringing in a book. But they figured, well, somebody might buy it as like a useless gift thing, a white
Gag
elephant
gift.
So
Yeah.
could make a great gag gift. There you go. So maybe you can stop by your local library and see if they have any of those. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
John and Heidi.
How much do you love your favorite restaurant? Enough to have it permanently inked on your body? Take a listen to
No.
this story. Peter Johnson loves All-in-One Restaurant. This is in Brighton, England. He loves it so much, he eats there 5 days a week, and he's got the restaurant's name and phone number tattooed on his forehead.
Whoa.
Yeah. All-in-One's owner, Nasser Bandar, says he doesn't give Johnson free food. He said because he did this on his own free will. I didn't ask him to, but whenever he does come in, we'll allow him to go right to the front of the queue, which is the line.
Yeah.
This is in England. They don't have lines there. No lines, which is nice. A lot of queues, no lines. Johnson says the tattoo's no big deal, according to him. He says some people, including my family, think I'm crazy. But I like tattoos, and I like all-in-one, so why not? End quote. So this guy has a restaurant's name and phone number tattooed on his forehead. I don't have any of those, thank goodness. Now, if you want a cool idea for a tattoo, get our radio station logo as a tattoo.
There you go.
Yeah, don't put it on your forehead. That's a bad idea. Don't put it there. Put it somewhere tasteful, and then let us know about it. Thanks for listening. Or the John and Heidi Show logo. Oh!
No, we're not going to start that.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Whether you're following the election or not, you understand that it impacts you. And this will be a historic election. The mainstream media has their own spin on who's going to win, but PoliticalStorm.com lets you chime in. You can keep yelling at the TV if you want. See how that works out. Or truly voice your opinion and have it heard at PoliticalStorm.com. Be informed from several different sources all in one place. Watch videos, listen to podcasts like mine, and read fun editorials to engage your brain. You have a choice, and now you have a voice, too, at PoliticalStorm.com. That's PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. If one of your excuses for not going to the gym is that weightlifting and treadmills are boring, well, you're going to have to come up with a new way to weasel out of it now. Take a listen to this, Heidi. Now you have to compete with dance studios and adult sports leagues. Gyms are coming up with creative ways to get fit. Classes like karaoke spin class. Yeah.
Oh my
and
gosh.
pogo boot camp.
What?
And stiletto strength fitness class. Some of the latest gym crazes. Among the benefits of different classes is that you work muscles that you might not regularly work out, and they help you avoid the so-called plateau that people get when they do the same old for way too long. Plus, working out with others builds camaraderie, and it makes it easier to stick with it. So, would you be interested in doing like a karaoke spin class, Heidi?
Not even a little.
How about a pogo boot camp?
No.
I know somebody that would like to do that. Our daughter, she got a pogo stick.
Yeah, but
This
she wasn't good at it.
No, well, that's why she would need to go to a boot camp. She wasn't good at it because I would never let her use it. This was, and I hope your mother's not listening right now, and Sandy, if you are, I love you, but that was the dumbest gift ever. Our daughter is a little accident prone. She had broken her right arm, and then she had broken her left arm, and then right after that, her grandma said, "Hey, I have an idea for a gift. How about a pogo stick?"
I didn't think it was that dangerous. I think
Oh.
that was a lot less dangerous than a skateboard.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought, do you really think that's a good idea? And your mom said, "Well, I had a pogo stick when I was a kid, and I loved it." Oh, okay.
I guess I didn't think it was that dangerous. You were
thought it was
freaking out.
I was like, I just think that's a really bad idea. So anyway, our daughter didn't use it a whole lot.
You wouldn't let her.
No, I hid it from her. So I just can't imagine. Can you imagine going and watching this? This would be a fun thing. I don't want to go work out in these classes, but I'd like to go watch these classes. And
Eating popcorn.
Sit on the side and watch people doing pogo boot camp or stiletto strength. What the heck could that be? Wear stiletto
Strutting
heels?
around
and-
your stilettos, yeah.
I wonder if that's a ladies only class or if there's
Probably not.
Hey, to each their own. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Whatever you want to do in the privacy of your own home or workout class, that's completely up to you. All right, we've got some good news on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is pretty darn good news. You ready for some good news, Heidi?
Sure.
All right. Javier Castellanos took the concept of lost and found to the next level during their recent trip to Spain. Castellanos found an envelope full of cash at the airport. It contained a bundle of euros, some Ukrainian currency, and a receipt from the currency exchange. After calling the name on the exchange receipt while in line at a border control area there, it proved unsuccessful. The couple turned to Facebook. Another dead end. Finally, Castellanos noticed the name of a tile company printed on the envelope. He called first thing Monday morning and was able to track down the owner of the lost cash and returned it. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he tried not once, not twice, but twice.
Twice?
I don't know what I'm saying. Not twice. Are we almost done? I think so.
I think so.
Not once, not twice, but 3 times, and finally found the right person in a completely different country, and he got the money back to him.
That's very cool.
I've got a link to this story, by the way, at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show if you want to go check that out. This is kind of a cool story, too. This almost made it for our good news.
All right.
An international research team located a tunnel in Lithuania used by Jewish prisoners to escape Nazi during World War II.
Oh.
USA Today and the Israeli Antiquities Authority announced the finding earlier this week. The team from Israel and the U.S. and Canada and Lithuania used mineral and oil exploration scanning technology to find a 100-foot-long tunnel located in the Ponner Forest. Prisoners dug for 76 nights using their hands and spoons and improvised tools to make the tunnel.
Wow.
80 Jewish prisoners attempted an escape from this Nazi extermination pits on the Ponner. This happened back in 1944, the last night of Passover. About a dozen survived the trek out of the tunnel and made it to the forest and the river past the camp. So this is
What
a tunnel.
happened to the rest?
They didn't make it. So this is a
They
tunnel.
died like in
I
the
don't
tunnel?
know. I don't know what happened, but I know this is a tunnel they knew existed because there were survivors, but they hadn't been able to find it until just recently. So
Wow.
there you go. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day.